Well, thank you for joining me on this final chapter of The Science of Breath by Yogi Ramacharaka. I wanted to start this channel with this particular book because of coming into my own awareness of how important breathing is for the mind, body, and soul, based on the teachings of Eastern medicine, ancient medicine, and the unfolding of quantum physics and mechanics understanding. I hope you have enjoyed this book as much as I have enjoyed reading and sharing my interpretation of what the writer wrote. In the process of my development, I have come to find many masters who have passed and who are living in my lifetime. I hope you come to find yours. Being born in the Hindu philosophy and growing up in the Catholic faith, it showed me that searching for truth is part of the journey of my own soul evolution. I wasn't struck down by lightning and feel no fear in my searching and learning to get closer to the divine. I hope with your desire for better health, you will take the journey's healing from the inside out. I also hope you allow me to be a part of your evolution and growth, as we are all who are doing this work are now doing it together at a collective consciousness level. I would like to share that the next book I will be reading is called The Science of the Soul. The book was written by Reverend Dr. R. Swinburne Clymer. And there's a little part at the top that says, "The art and science of building an illuminated and immortal soul, the method for the attainment of soul or cosmic consciousness and oneness with God, the spiritual ethics for the new age." This book was copyrighted in 1944, and I am so looking forward to reading it and sharing it with you. Thank you again for joining me. The real and the imitation. The Western student is apt to be somewhat confused in his ideas regarding the yogis and their philosophy and practice. Travelers to India have written great tales about the hordes of fakirs, mendicants, and mountebanks who infest the great roads of India and the streets of its cities, and who impudently claim the title yogi. The Western student is scarcely to be blamed for thinking of the typical yogi as an emaciated, fanatical, dirty, ignorant Hindu who either sits in a fixed posture until his body becomes ossified, or else holds his arm up in the air until it becomes stiff and withered, and forever after remains in that position, or perhaps clenches his fists and holds it tight until his fingernails grow through the palm of his hands. That these people exist is true, but their claim to the title yogi seems to be absurd as to the true yogi, as does the claim to the title doctor on the part of the man who pars one's corn seem to be eminent surgeon, or as does the title of professor, as assumed by the street corner vendor of worm medicine, seem to the president of Harvard or Yale. The science of yoga. There have been for ages past in India and other Oriental countries yogi masters who devoted their time and attention to the development of man, physically, mentally, and spiritually. The experience of generations of earnest seekers have been handed down for centuries from teacher to pupil, and gradually to define yoga science was built up. To these investigations and teachings was finally applied the term yogi, from the Sanskrit word yug, meaning to join. The threefold path. Yoga is divided into several branches, ranging from that which teaches the control of the body to that which teaches the highest spiritual development. Men are of varying temperaments, and the course that which will best suit one will not be adapted to the requirements of another. One will seek progress and development in one direction, and another in a different way, and a third by a still different course. The yogi philosophy teaches that the way that seems to appeal the most to a man's general temperament and disposition is the one best apt to his use at the present time. They divide the path of attainment into 3 paths leading up to the great main road. They call these 3 paths 1. Raja Yoga, 2. Karma Yoga, 3. Jnana Yoga. Each of these forms of yoga being a path leading to the great road, and each being traveled by those who may prefer it, but all lead to the same place. We will now give a brief description of each of the 3 paths, which together are known to the yogis as the threefold path. The various branches. Each branch of yoga is but a path leading toward the one end: enfoldment, development, and growth. He who wishes first to develop, control, and strengthen his physical body so as to render it a fit instrument of the higher self follows the path of Hatha Yoga. He who would develop his willpower and mental faculties, unfolding the inner senses and latent powers, follows the path of Raja Yoga. He who wishes to develop by knowing, by studying the fundamental principles and the wonderful truths underlying life, follows the path of Jnana Yoga. And he who wishes to grow into a union with the one life by the influence of love, he follows the path of Bhakti Yoga. But it must not be supposed that the student must ally himself to only a single one of these paths to power. In fact, very few do. The majority prefer to gain a rounded knowledge and acquaint themselves with the principles of the several branches, learning something of each, giving preference, of course, to those branches that appeal to them more strongly, this attraction being the indication of need or requirement, and therefore being the hand pointing out the path. It is well for everyone to know something of Hatha Yoga in order that the body may be purified, strengthened, and kept in health in order to become a more fitting instrument of the higher self. It is well that each one should know something of Raja Yoga, that he may understand the training and the control of the mind and the use of the will. It is well that everyone should learn the wisdom of Jnana Yoga, that he may realize the wonderful truths underlying life, the science of being, the scientific and intellectual knowing of the great questions regarding life and what lies back of life, the riddle of the universe. And it is well that everyone should know something of Bhakti Yoga, that he may understand the great teachings regarding the love underlying all life. The man best calculated to make general advancement along occult lines is one who avoids running the extremes in any one of the branches of the subject, but who, while in the main following his own inclination towards certain forms of yoga, still keeps up a general acquaintance with the several phases of the great philosophy. In the end, man must develop on all his many sides, and why not keep in touch with all sides while we journey along? By following this course, we avoid one-sidedness, fanaticism, narrowness, short-sightedness, and bigotry. For those for whom the teachings are intended. Our books are intended only for those who feel an earnest attraction towards the higher teachings. They are for earnest students inspired by the highest motives. Those for whom these teachings are intended will feel attracted to them. If you feel attracted towards these works, we will be glad to have you study them. If not, we will feel just as kindly toward you and will send you our best wishes for the hastening of the day when you will be ready for the advanced teachings. The Master is one entirely for the guidance of your higher self. Let it decide for you. The matter is one entirely for the guidance of your higher self. Let it decide for you. To those to whom a glimpse of the inner life has been given, the yogi philosophy will prove a treasure of the rarest jewels, and each time he studies it, he will see new gems. To many, it will be the first revelation of that which will have been all their lives blindly seeking. To many it will be the first bit of spiritual bread given to satisfy the hunger of the soul. To many it will be the first cup of water from the spring of life given to quench the thirst which has consumed them. Those for whom this teaching is intended will recognize its message, and after it they will never be the same as before it came to them. As the poet has said, quote, "Where I pass, all my children know me," end quote, and so will the children of the light recognize the teachings as for them. As for the others, we can only say that they will in time be ready for this great message. Some will be able to understand much of the teaching from the first, while others will see but dimly even the first steps. The student, however, will find that when he has firmly planted his foot on one of these steps, he will find the one just ahead becoming dimly illuminated, so as to give him confidence to take the next step. Let none be discouraged. The fact that this teaching attracts you will in time unfold its meaning. Study it over and often, and you will find veil after veil lifted, though veil upon veil still remains between you and that beyond. Peace be to you. Advice to beginners. We advise interested beginners to study first our 14 lessons in yogi philosophy, which give a general outline of the entire subject. The beginner will also do well to study Hatha Yoga in order to render his physical body healthy and sound and thus give his spirit a worthy temple in which to manifest. Science of breath may also be studied to advantage by the beginners. As the student proceeds and develops an understanding, he may take up the study of, quote, our advanced course, then Raja Yoga and Agni Yoga, as his interests and desires dictate. Our little manual, Light on the Path, an Illuminated Way, will fit in well at this stage. We will be glad to furnish inquiries with advance regarding the books they need, if they will ask us for the same. Each student of the subject, however, finds himself attracted to the books he needs. This is the law. As the teachers have written, quote, know, O disciple, that those who have passed through the silence and felt its peace and retained its strength, they long that you shall pass through it also. Therefore, in the hall of learning, when he is capable of entering there, the disciple will always find his master, end quote. And so the inclination toward the required book comes in due time.